Alright, this is making me a little bit nervous, but this is the time when we give this a coat of alfoil. And I've cut a piece here that's very delicate, but it's nice and clean. There's no things in it. There will be by the time we finish this. And here is the finished product. You can see I've put these little extra pieces across there to denote the plates, and these are all of the little hatches. Now I'm going to mix some 5-minute epoxy, so it's going to put me under some pressure, and I'm going to cover this with 5-minute epoxy. Then I'm going to put those on. I'm going to have to carefully thread them around the hydroplanes and cut them, and let's just do it. Let's get it done. Okay. Now this is 10-minute epoxy, and I've got a bit more time here now to be able to work on this. Let's get rid of that. There's no substitute for fingers, I find. Yuck. Okay, this is when the real work gets done. Okay, it's going completely off now. And I have to say to you, this is how the sail on the Nautilus looked, and it's scary at first, but now we need some paint. Although in reality I couldn't stop, and I put the lid back on to make it a bit stronger, cut the rest of it back, and I'm feeling more and more comfortable with it. It's always a bit of a shock when you do this. Well, I've only done it twice, because you put so much work into this, and then suddenly you cover it with this alfoil, and it really makes the sail in this case look worse than it does in any pictures. But once I've given that a spray of etch, I think I might be able to start just touching some of it up, and which is fun in itself, because that's what they do to these boats. I mean, who knows, it's probably broken. My model's probably broken through the ice a couple of times. That's my excuse anyway. It's going to be an eye catcher with a sail like that, I tell you. I'm not particularly happy with the front. And in the last boat, I actually put another piece on the front. And I think I'll do that on this one also, because that's too much. That's what I did to the other boat, so I might do that on this one as well. But I'll wait till tomorrow to make that decision. That epoxy's gone off, and none of those little marks are moving. There we have it. Looks better on that side. Alright, so it looks fairly battered around here, far too much. So what I'm going to do with that is I've cut a piece of flashing which is very fine, which fits beautifully into there, and I'm going to fill that with some epoxy, and I'm going to put this on very, very gently to make that smooth. I've also got another piece here which is going to go down there, and I'm not going to put as much epoxy in this, and I'm going to push this on fairly tightly, so it's still going to get rid of a lot of the more unbelievable parts of the way it's dented, but it's still going to come out looking dented, so that's good. Alright, so this is where the magic's starting to happen. I've put a bit more flashing on here, very gently and carefully, and just buttered it up to the edges here. It really didn't work in here at all, so what I'm going to use instead of flashing in here is just a little bit of plastic from just from an item that I purchased that was lying around. Just needs to have that little bit more strength, which will enable it to sit on here and not follow the contours under it. And the result, I think, is terrific. Look at that. I love doing this stuff. It's challenging, because it doesn't always turn out the way you want it to. But this is going to look spectacular. Got to make sure make sure that those ends connects up nicely. Doesn't take much pressure to get that on. And that will be fantastic. So my plan now will be to do the same, to add some more in smaller components, smaller parts, and make them up nicely. And it's going to look great.